good morning. Welcome to Vision Academy. February 17 கான current affairs பார்க்கலாம். So the first news is Nitish Kushwaha accuses Delhi police of insulting Ashoka, replacing Ashoka pillar with India Gate as a logo, a conspiracy. The move by Delhi police to replace Ashoka pillar with the India Gate as its logo is yet another conspiracy to demean the legendary Maurya emperor. Senior JDU leader Upendra Kushwaha alleged on Wednesday. அதாவது அசோகா பில்லருக்கு பதில் இந்தியா கேட்டை வந்து லோகோவா வைக்கிறதுக்கான ஒரு சர்ச்சை வந்து போயிட்டுருக்கு. இதை பற்றினதான நியூஸ் தான் இது. ஸோ அதுக்கு வந்து நிறைய பேர் என்னுடைய கண்டனத்தை தெரிவிச்சிருக்காங்க. Key political aide of Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, Mr. Kushwaha, has been in the headlines for aggressive posturing on alleged denigration of the legendary ruler of Magadh, who is seen as an OBC icon as his grandfather Chandragupta, the founder of Maurya dynasty, was born in a family of poor shepherds. The JD Parliamentary Board chief shared a news item about the Delhi police decision on his Twitter handle and sought the intervention of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah. Notably, the Delhi police reports to the Union Ministry for Home Affairs moved to erase history. This is yet another conspiracy to erase Ashoka the Great from history, Mr. Kushwaha, a former Union Minister, tweeted in Hindi tagging Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah. Earlier last month, Mr. Kushwaha had kept political temperature high by relentless attacks on playwright Daya Prakash Sinha after he was chosen for Sahitya Academy Award. The next news is tribunal appointments being taken lightly. The bench, also comprising Justices D.Y. Chandrachud and Nageshwar Rao, had then held its hand on initiating contempt proceedings against the government and allowed the latter 2 weeks to make appointments to all the tribunals. If the government does not act, we will pass orders, the CJ said. Pitiable State Chief Justice Ramana had termed the state of tribunals and the thousands of litigants waiting for justice pitiable. Cases were adjourned for months. There is no manpower to form benches. Litigants are made to travel to other faraway states where there are at least some tribunal members available to hear their cases. The bench had addressed the Attorney General about how the government pulled the rug from underneath the hard work of the search cum selection committees headed by sitting Supreme Court judges tasked with interviewing and shortlisting suitable candidates for the tribunals. Godse topic in school contest triggers row. அது இது ரீசெண்டாக நம்ம நிறைய பேர் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்போம். ஒரு ஸ்கூல் காம்படிஷனில் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து கோட்ஸேயை பற்றி தான் ஒரு டாபிக் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அதில் கோட்ஸேயை புகழ்ந்து பேசி ஒரு மாணவி வந்து பரிசும் வாங்கியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ அந்த நியூஸ் தான் நம்ம இப்போ பார்க்குறோம். Mahatma Gandhi's assassin Nathuram Godse as a subject in a speech competition in a private school in Valsad had sparked a controversy, prompting the Gujarat government to suspend an official. ஸோ இந்த டாப்பிக்கை வந்து கொடுத்தது ஒரு கவர்மெண்ட் அஃபிஷியல் தான் வந்து இந்த டாபிக் அந்த ஸ்கூலுக்கு ரெக்கமெண்ட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. The competition for the students of classes 5 to 8 was organized on 3 subjects approved by the Valsad district officials. They were: first topic, I like the flying birds in the sky. The second topic is I will become a scientist but will not go to the USA. And Nathuram Godse, my ideal or hero. A student who spoke on the third subject was declared the winner and given the prize. Youth and Culture Minister Harsh Sanghavi said the Youth Development Officer of the district Mitagavli was placed under suspension for lack of oversight. Strict action would be taken against other officials also after a probe, he added. Opposition leaders and Gandhians slammed the subject chosen by the authorities. Mahatma Gandhi's great-grandson Tushar Gandhi said on Twitter, in New India, murderers or heroes. So மகாத்மா காந்தியோட கிராண்ட்சன் வந்து ட்வீட்ல சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, இன் இந்தியா மர்டரர்ஸ் ஆர் ஹீரோஸ் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி இதுக்கு வந்து அவங்களோட பதில சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. Ashok Kumar is Maritime Security Coordinator. Former Vice Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral G. Ashok Kumar has been appointed the first National Maritime Security Coordinator in the National Security Council Secretariat. Official sources said on Wednesday. The NMSC will report to National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, an official said. Social Justice Ministry unveiled scheme for tribes. The Union Social Justice Ministry on Wednesday launched the scheme for economic empowerment of denotified nomadic and semi-nomadic communities with a total expenditure of 200 crore over 5 years. Under the new scheme, students would be given free coaching for entrance tests like civil services, medicine, engineering and MBA and livelihood. So let's see nearly 5 to 6 questions from the above current affairs. Present Union Minister. Who is the present Union Minister of our country? Next is present Chief Justice of Supreme Court. N.V. Ramana. Which state school indulged Godse topic in school competition? So that's Gujarat. Present Maritime Security Coordinator. Present Maritime Security Coordinator. G. Ashok Kumar. Full form of SEED. SEED. SEED full form is Schools for scheme for economic empowerment of denotified nomadic and subnomadic communities. Scheme for economic empowerment of denotified, nomadic and semi-nomadic communities. So next news is NATO US skeptical of Russian troop pullout. Russia said on Wednesday more of its forces surrounding Ukraine were withdrawing, but NATO joined the US in saying it had yet to be convinced the pullout was real. The Russian Defense Ministry published video that it said showed tanks, infantry, fighting vehicles and self-propelled artillery units leaving the Crimea Peninsula, which Moscow annexed in 2014. Units of the Southern Military District having compelled their participation in tactical exercises or moving to their permanent deployment points, the ministry said. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So this is it also called the North Atlantic Alliance. It is an intergovernmental military alliance between 27 European countries, 2 North American countries and 1 Eurasian country. The organization implements the North Atlantic Treaty that was signed on 4 April 1949. NATO constitutes a system of collective security whereby its independent member states agree to mutual defense in response to an attack by any external party. Tribunal appointment being taken lightly. Court schedules hearing in 2 weeks. Quasi-judicial institution adjudicating disputes, determining rights between contesting parties, making an administrative decision, reviewing an existing administrative decision and so forth. The tribunals were set up to reduce the workload of courts, to expedite decisions and to provide a forum which would be manned by lawyers and experts in the areas falling under the jurisdiction of the tribunal. Tribunals were not part of the original constitution. It was incorporated in the Indian Constitution by 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Article 323A deals with administrative tribunals and Article 323B deals with tribunals for other matters. The next news is thousands of crimson rose butterflies fly over across ocean. They migrate from Dhanushkodi to Sri Lanka. The pristine beach of Dhanushkodi at the southernmost tip of the Rameshwaram Island in the Indian peninsulas witnessed a rare phenomenon over the past few days. Thousands of crimson rose butterflies swarmed all available flowering plants along the beach. It was their stopover for nectaring before they undertook their ultimate flight towards Sri Lanka, around 25 km away from the tip of Dhanushkodi. Pachyopta hector, the crimson rose, is a large swallowtail butterfly belonging to the genus Pachyopta roses of the red-bodied swallowtails. It is recorded as a species of least concern by IUCN. The next news is the RBI must be ready to recalibrate its inflation projections and shift policy stance. India's inflation based on the consumer price index quickened to 6.01% in January, breaching the central bank's upper tolerance limit of 6%. While the headline number was no surprise given that the RBI had forecast the acceleration, the official data merit scrutiny provisional estimates show the hinterland, with its great proportion of the country's poor, bore the brunt of rising food prices, with rural food price inflation sprinting to 5.18% from December's 3.39%. Oils and fats quickened the fastest at 18.7%. Though the RBI had been expected to start normalizing its pandemic era policy, stands in February's monetary policy meeting and reaffirmed its resolve to contain inflation, the central bank retained the status quo in order to support economic growth. The last news is the row over a ritual in Kerala. The age-old temple ritual Kalkurikichute, which involves washing the feet of Brahmins and feeding them as a way of penance, has run into controversy in Kerala. The government will have to tread a fine line in addressing the controversy over the feet washing ritual. The North Atlantic Treaty that was signed on it's 1947. Which is the correct? Tribunals are part of original constitution. Tribunals are not part of the original constitution. It's added by 42nd Constitutional Amendment. Added by 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. So 1 and 3 are correct. The IUCN status for crimson rose. They have said that it comes under least concern. So option D is correct. Kalkurikichute ritual followed in which state? So just now we heard about it. That's in Kerala state. Okay, thank you all.